Good evening, my name is Alex Campbell, and you're watching the third episode of Dissecting Who. In this episode, I'll be dissecting episode 7 of season 10, The Pyramid at the End of the World.
We will take this planet and its people. Life on Earth will cease by humanity's own land.
Now this episode opens with Bill and her love interest. I just want to say straight off, I don't care. I didn't care about Clara and Mr. Pink, and I just want to see more sci-fi. I do like the character of Bill though. She has charisma and spunk, you know? She carries the audience's attention. Well, she carries my attention anyway. In this episode, and I believe the first time it started was in the season finale of Season 8, the Doctor is the president of the world and he has control over the Earth in time of crisis. I don't really like the idea of that. I don't know why. Just prefer like an under the radar type of a Doctor, you know, skulking around the alleyways of some forbidden planet. But all in all, this episode is good. I like it. It's well written, it drives, it grabs your attention. It's not as confusing as a lot of episodes written by Stephen Moffat have been.
I am confused.
So the subplot of this episode is there's a dwarf lady and a hungover guy, and they're in a lab. Now the hungover guy misses a decimal and the dwarf lady's glasses got broken. And what this leads to is creating this ultimate virus which has catastrophic effect on the Earth and wipes all life out in about a year. Now this sounds really silly when you lay it out like that, but while watching the show, I didn't mind it. I thought it was kind of a cool idea. Has this whole the butterfly effect thing going on, you know, butterfly flaps its wings, can change the future, lady's glasses break, and the entire population of the Earth gets wiped out by a virus. Yeah. I think going into this episode, going into New Who for the first time on this show, and going into Stephen Moffat for the first time to this show, not like that. I should give my opinion on the guy. Now, some people like Moffat, some people hate Moffat. I'm on the fence, and more than that, I'm confused. He seems to have writers bipolar. Like, there were so many great episodes in season 9 that he wrote. I'm like, holy shit, this is an amazing episode. And then there are some really terrible episodes he's written in the Matt Smith era, and especially the last Christmas special. What was it, The Mystique of Mysterio or something, that superhero one? I mean, that was written by Moffat and it was the worst episode of Doctor Who I've ever seen. There were times where I was verbally yelling at the TV because the dialogue was so bad between the superhero guy and his love interest. And it really confuses me that he can write such terrible trash, and then on the other hand, he can write such brilliant episodes. Is he good? Is he bad? I guess he's bipolar. He can write good, he can write bad. I'm glad to see him go though. How many times can you write fucking bad episodes of Doctor Who without fucking Alex getting angry? I'm fucking angry at you, Stephen Moffat. Done some good episodes though. Now the enemies of this episode, the previous episode, and the episode next week are like these zombie monks. They serve the purpose of the episode and they're not really at the forefront of the story, they're just kind of there in the background. They're a kind of generic character. They remind me of The Silence, which was kind of Stephen Moffat trying to do a Russell T Davies Weeping Angels thing, but failing. The Silence weren't very interesting, and these monks aren't that interesting. Now, I hesitate to say this because it might be explained in next week's episode, being that it is one of a 3-parter, but I just don't know what the monks want or what they're trying to do, you know. They appear on the Earth in this pyramid and want to bargain with us to save the world from this virus that they know of. In the previous episode, they made like a virtual reality fucking thing to see all of our weaknesses. It's like, alright, you're setting up fucking writing 101. Get your enemy, set it up. Who are they? What are the motivations? We don't know. Generic zombies who want to destroy the Earth.
Hello?
We know you.
Then you'll know that there is a line on the sand, and I'm the man on the other side of it.
Now, I've just come off the back of watching a lot of old Who, and I know they have a lot more time to go into stories, doing either the 4-parters or the 6-parters, sometimes even the 10-parters. And this episode has really good momentum, and it gets your interest, and you get dragged through, but just a few moments with dialogue where I thought it has pacing issues because it's so quick. Like, there are a few moments with fucking dialogue early on with Bill and the Chinese guy, whatever he is. After her lines, I would have liked reaction shots, but it was just kind of bam, dialogue, bam, dialogue, bam, dialogue, next scene. And it all very much feels like that to me, you know? We're getting rushed through dialogue, scene, dialogue, action, dialogue, this. And I just kind of want a little bit more time for, not the story to breathe, but the dialogue to breathe, you know? People have pauses in between stuff they say with the other people thinking. People react to stuff visually, and you cut to that, you show that shot.
Tell me what you see.
It's a 5,000-year-old pyramid.
One little problem. Wasn't there yesterday.
So the hungover guy, Douglas, the scientist who misses the decimal point, creates the virus which destroys the whole world. By the way, I can totally relate to fucking Douglas. I'm the guy at work every day who's fucking hungover and fucking up because he's fucking hungover. Anyway, and then hungover Douglas misses his decimal and he melts. That's right, people. If you go to work hungover, you're gonna fuck up. You're gonna doom the human race and you're gonna melt. Oh, Dougie. Dougie. I can relate to you, Dougie. Hope I don't melt.
Those creatures in that pyramid, they have studied you, and they have chosen this exact moment and this exact place.
I love Capaldi. When he was coming in, I thought it was so refreshing. Great to see a cranky old man in the part of the Doctor for the first time in 48 years. Yeah, from the beginning, from Capaldi's first episode, even from his casting, I was like, fuck yeah, man, this guy's gonna be great. And he has been great, man. I'm really captivated by him every time he's acting. Every time he has a scene where he's just spewing dialogue. I'm like, oh, go Capaldi. Really like his fucking attitude too, you know? I'm a fucking angry man. That's great. That's what I want to see. I don't want to see happy people on screen. I want to see cranky, angry people on screen. Because I'm cranky and angry. I want to see dark, depressing stories. Because I'm dark and depressed. That's why I don't like Matt Smith. Because he was happy. And I don't want to see things that are happy. I want to see stuff that's depressing. So the TARDIS rocks up in this science lab that's created the bacteria, and Nardor breathes air for a little bit, and then he like fucking passes out in the TARDIS and dies. I don't know, cliffhanger. Anyway, I was watching this, and the Doctor's just like, I'm a Time Lord. Bacteria doesn't affect me. I don't like that. I mean, if you eliminate all the risk, you know, there's no tension. The Doctor's never going to die because he's an immortal being. He's not an immortal being. He's just a Time Lord. He's a different race. You know, he's not Superman. As far as I can tell biologically, the Time Lords are very similar to us. They have 2 hearts, of course, and 3 fucking brain nerve stems, they said in the previous episode about Missy. First time I've heard of that. Anyway, he's affected by a fucking bacteria. Like, it's not like he can't get an infection. He's not Wolverine. He's only real... He's not... I don't know. He doesn't have magical powers. He's just fucking smart. And weird and odd. I didn't like that. I didn't like that.
What's wrong with the Doctor?
I lied. I've been blind since Chasm Forge.
So these generic monks want the human race to trust them so they can save them. And immediately the Chinese delegate's like, yeah, okay, I'll trust you, save me. And they just like fucking turn into ash. She's like, ah! It's like that fucking last scene from Raiders of the Lost Ark where that guy fucking melts. So we have the leader of the American military, the Russian military, and the Chinese military. They all see this. And the Doctor's like, ha ha ha, these monks just murdered somebody, let's get out of here. Anyway, later on they go back because they're scared about the Earth ending. It's probably been like fucking 20 minutes since they've been in there. This is what they do. They trust the generic monks after seeing some guy turn to ash. And what do? Brutally murder them all. Yeah, it's just So the leader of the American military, Chinese military, and Russian military are all really fucking stupid. Doesn't make sense. How do they get this high up into power and command if they're that stupid, you know? If I personally seen some guy brutally murder someone in front of me, I wouldn't trust him. I'd be like, man, I don't know, I think you're gonna murder me. And that's what he did. He murdered.
I am confused.
So the Doctor's been blind for 3 episodes now, and it finally comes into play. There's an access code he needs to punch in, and he can't see because he's blind. I like the idea of the Doctor being blind, and I think it's a cool and different direction, which we haven't really seen before. Especially not for 4 episodes. But, he just puts on like his magic sonic sunglasses and he can see. It just kind of defeated the purpose for me. So it's cool that it actually came into play. But then Bill trusted the generic monks after watching them brutally murder 4 people in front of her. Only got his eyesight back. So it only really came into play once. And then, you know, there are a few little jokes where he couldn't read something. But hey, do you know what's a really cool and interesting idea? What's that? We'll make the Doctor blind. Yeah, but he can see. What? It'll only come into play like once. And then it'll be over. Eh. Idea wasted. Cool idea though. Maybe next time, Moffat.
Open the door.
God,
Why can't you?
because I'm blind. Sorry, I'm blind.
What do you mean you're blind? What are you talking about?
I lied. I've been blind since Chasm Forge. I didn't get my sight back. I've been lying to you. There's a combination lock with numbers, and I can't see them.
What the stupidest idiot ever!
So this episode is written by Stephen Moffat and Peter Harness, who wrote the Zygon Invasion and Zygon Inversion, and I really think it's a well-written episode. I mean, it's not one of those Moffat ones where you're like, what the fuck is going on? I'm not confused because I'm stupid, I'm confused because you wrote a confusing script.
I am confused.
It has good pacing, it keeps interest, it has tension, and I didn't really like the Zion Invasion or Inversion when I first seen them. I might have to go back and watch them because this was really well written. I like the way it ends on a cliffhanger too. I'm obviously a fan of old Who. Every episode ended on a cliffhanger until that serial was over. And now we don't know what these generic monks want. We don't know about Nardor. Okay. Bill made some bargaining deal with these monks, and we don't know what's going to come of that. And the next time on Doctor Who, seeing the Doctor's doing some shit, I don't know what he's doing. Michelle Gomez is going to be in it, that'll be cool. Michelle Gomez is cool, I look forward to her. In conclusion, taking all things into consideration, this being episode of New Who in the Moffat era, it's a good episode, you know? I'll give it a go. Man, I did. And so should you. Alright, thank you for joining me. If you could, it'd really help me out if you'd like, subscribe, and in the comments, well, write something. In next week's episode, I'm going to be discussing Tom Baker's 3rd serial, The Soltaran Experiment. I hope you can join me for that. That'll be great. We could be in each other's company once again. Because I've enjoyed this. I've enjoyed spending time with you. Anyway, good night.